Yo, what is going on, everybody? Jay with us, back at it again with What is Deku Was Moon Knight. So, in this one, this is going to be the final part, and I kind of want you guys' help with something. Do you guys want me to start making movies, like compiling all the parts together, rather than just posting the final video and calling it that? I know I make the playlist for them, but I don't know if you guys would rather me just you know, make the full version so that way if you guys are doing homework or something, you don't have to worry about clicking to the next video or something. But if you guys would like that, leave it down in the comments. But I guess without further ado, let's get a what if Dracula owed Deku money? If you guys get that reference, you get the reference. But so picking off from last time, they all return to class and they just have general studies for about like a week or so. And after this, I saw what he talks to them and he's like, yo guys, so coming up in like about like a month, we're gonna help you guys train because we have a little bit of a provisional hero license exam, and we're doing this just in case we get attacked again, which we doubt we will, but just in case we want to be ready for it. So we're going to be taking an exam to get you guys your provisional licenses. If you guys don't pass, then you don't pass and you'll have to try next year. But there's no real failure there's no like real thing if you fail, because there are going to be remedial courses if you so choose to do them. So like I said, we are gonna have about like a month to train and get you guys ready for it. So I guess let's roll the training montage. Not planned. But after this, I can see them all going to the training ground, and I can actually see Izuku. What he tries to do is he tries to master like not just being able to fight in the darkness, because that's like his main specialty. Like he only fights like at nighttime or whenever it's dark out. So he wants to learn to not only like rely on this like his camouflage in the dark, but he wants to learn how to like fully rely on his just straight hands and his ability to be able to throw daggers and be able to throw really well, which is actually going to come into handy with the first portion, but not so much in the second, in my opinion, because he's not going to want to kill King. But so I feel like that's what he would work on for the first, or not for the first, but for the month. He would try and work on being able to fight in the daytime, like better than or about the equal as he can in the nighttime. But him training in daytime would also help him at nighttime, just because it would make him rely less on his like the regular dark. So after this, I can see them all getting onto the bus, and everybody's about the same that they are in canon. I think Bakugo and Todoroki would be a little bit more powerful, just because like they wouldn't rely so much on their quirks after being, abused by Deku. So after this, I can see them all getting on the bus, driving to the place, and everybody's just talking and yapping. And I can see Deku and Jiro just talking it up, and like Izuku just being like, "I don't know if yeah, I think I did. Never mind. Yeah, I did. Okay, so I can see them all just like talking, and I can see Izuku and Jiro just in the back, just talking, nothing too crazy, and finally the topic gets brought up of like how the exam is going to go, and Izuku says, I think it'll be easy, honestly. And everybody's like, what, you think it's gonna be easy? There's like gonna be 2-3 different schools here that all have potential candidates. And he's like, yeah, I know. To be fair, we did train with this for like a month or two. So if you guys aren't prepared by now, like you guys never will be prepared. And everybody's just like, I guess you're right. And Bakugo and Todoroki chime up and they're like, nah, we agree. Like this is gonna be light work. Like it's not gonna be light work for them. I'm gonna tell you guys this now. It's not going to be light work for them. Neither of them are going to pass. Little foreshadowing, subtle foreshadowing. But anyways, I was like, quiet down, we're here. And immediately they get there, and the whole thing with Shiketsu and Miss Joe come up, and immediately Izuku knows that this guy is fake. Like, and he knows fake people. Like, he knows they're going to be fake. He was fake. So he's like, hey, if you're gonna be fake, at least act like it, bro. Like, come on, don't try and fool us. Like, you ain't fooling no one. And he's just like, I'm surprised you can see through it. You must be a smart one. My name is so and so, because I low-key forgot his name. And he's like, you can call me Moon Knight. And he's like, ooh, okay, buddy. Like, tough name, tough name. And he's like, yeah, stop being fake, bro. And he's like, call me again. I guess there's no fooling you. And he's like, and Izuku's like, dude, I've been a vigilante since I was 12. You are not getting past me. And this dude is like, wait, Moon Knight, vigilante. He goes to UA. Oh, you are the Moon Knight. And he's like, bingo. And he just walks forward, and everybody's like, yeah. And everybody's like, wait, he's the Moon Knight? And everybody's just kind of shocked, like, because only Aizawa knew it. And Aizawa's like face bombed, like, bro, why did you just reveal that? No one's going to mess with you, and you might actually just like fail from that. So they get in there, and it's the opposite effect, bro. Like, it's not that they didn't want to mess with him, it was quite the opposite. Everybody tried to go for him because they were like, oh, you think you're a big shot, huh? So they all go in there, and the walls drop after the dude explains the test. And remember how I said Moon Knight's a master marksman? So he throws his armor on, and he takes the ball, and he's just like yeet 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 yeet. Yeah, no, he would pass instantly. Like, I don't think you guys understand. That's like Hawkeye taking the test and failing. I'm saying like this portion, like if he just put the ball in a bow, like on an arrow, and just went boop 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 boop, 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 he would pass like almost immediately. So yeah. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have seen Hunter x Hunter, but if you guys remember the Hisoka scene, how he's kind of just sitting there like lounged up against the wall watching as everybody else walks in. Yeah, we get a scene very similar to that with Izuku just propped up on the wall, and the person that follows him, like Illumi does, is going to be, I want to say it would be the who was the first to pass? It would be Inasa, and he'd walk in and be like, huh, somebody else beat me here, huh? I guess it shouldn't be too big of a surprise from the Moon Knight. And I know Inasa doesn't act like that, but like, I don't know. There's just something tough about that. And he's like, yeah, you right. And he's like, my name's Inasa. How about we wage a little bit of a bet? And he's like, I'm listening. And Inasa is like, how about we see in the with the next one, whatever we have to do, let's see who can do better. And Deku's just like, oh, okay, well, if you win, what's in it for me if I win? And he's like, oh, nothing, just a friendly wager, nothing at stake. And he's like, yeah, no, I'll pass. If there's nothing in it for me. And Inasa's like, how about this? You pass, I won't tell the world your secret. And he's like, oh, what secret? And he's like, that you're really quirkless. And he's like, dude, that's not really a secret. Like, come on. If you looked it up and you found out my name, it's not that hard. And he's like, wait, you wouldn't really be mad? And he's like, no, not at all. And he was like, what if I revealed your identity? He's like, that's not that bad either. I've literally told your entire class that I'm the real Moon Knight. So just basically asking my class who I am, like what my name is, and that what my quirk is, and he'd figure it out that way. And he's just like, fair enough. And then they just continue talking, and they actually build like a sort of bond. And if you guys don't like the way I'm portraying Inasa, womp womp. Like, I like Inasa as a character. I wish he wasn't so, blah. But yeah, I'm gonna just like mellow him out a little bit, I guess. And yeah, because I honestly think that, like, even if the Endeavor stuff happened, like, I just wish Inasa was a little bit more mellow. So that's what we're going to be doing. And that's probably how it's going to go in a lot of my stories, because I don't really know how to portray him correctly. But also, if I don't, like, get into anything, like, super detailed, I haven't really seen all of MHA in, like, a while. Like, I think I watched all the way up to the Overhaul arc whenever it was new, and then I stopped watching it, and then I haven't seen season 5, 6, or 7. No, that's incorrect. I watched all the way up to the Gentle arc, but I don't really feel like covering it, because 90% of the Izukus that I use are going to be either OP or not OP. Like, and like, I don't know. Like, this one, Gentle, it wouldn't even be a scratch. Like, come on, it wouldn't even be scrapping. 1, I don't think Izuku would forget it in this one. And 2, even if he did, like, I feel like he would just see Gentle and be like, oh, you're a villain? I bet. And then throw a moon crescent and just stop him. Like, even if he made it bouncy, it's still just like, okay, it's coming back to Izuku, he's just gonna keep throwing it. Like, come on now. And even if he bounces it away, he has like an infinite supply, doesn't he? Like, and he's a master marksman and martial artist. Like, yeah. So sorry for that little tangent, but I would say the next thing comes up and Izuku's like, oh, it's a saving portion. Okay, well, that means it's probably going to be a little bit harder for me to, be able to do this. So how about this? How about I focus on I focus on them getting here, not saving them. And everybody's like, okay, cool, whatever. Like he was telling that to Class 1A, and everybody else goes and does it, and he hears a boom, 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 and he's like, and all he hears is Gang Orca saying, you thought it was gonna be that easy? Think again, heroes. And Gang Orca is just like, and Izuku's like, oh, he'd be fun to fight. So Izuki's just hopping up and down, like pumping his fists, like doing the Goku stretching. Like he tough gang, and he's like, well, you see, the moon is in hell right now, so I might have to make an artificial one. And he's like, what do you mean? And he's like, nah, I'm playing. I can't do all that. I'm quirkless. And he's like, oh, you're just a quirkless brat, huh? Well, this is gonna be easy then. And it's not gonna be easy. This man runs like crazy fast, and he just blitzes at Gang Orca. He's like, mink. Nothing. It doesn't affect Gang Orca. Because if he was tanking Bakugo explosions, ice, and Inas's wind quirk all at the same time, pretty much, I don't feel like Izuku throwing hands was really gonna do much. So I could see Gang Orca going and doing that thing to Izuku, and him, like, he would get phased by this. Like, this is gonna be an interesting fight, because the only way I can see him using it is if he uses the voice of Khonshu, which he's not trying to rely on that, because that's just cheats right there, bro. So he's just like, all right, bet, mink, and he's just like constantly trying to hit him. And Gang Orca, like, he's starting to be like, oh, this hurts, and he's like, okay, I have to stop this. He palms Izuku's head, lifting him up in the air, like sending vibrations through his head, like, oh, I can't let you do that. And Izuku's like, wait, I'm arrested. This hurts, but like, I mean, he has me in a point where I can just like mink, and he like triple kicks his skull, and he like spins out of his hand, and he lands a massive like spinning heel kick mid-air to Gang Orca's jaw. And Gang Orca, he spits out some blood from this. So what I can see happening from this is Gang Orca, he stumbles and he's like, you're not bad for a kid who's quirkless nonetheless. And he's like, oh, I might be quirkless, it doesn't make me weak. And he still has a ceremonial armor on, so he can tank a few hits. Like, he's not weak at all. Like, so I can see just like Izuku just like pumping his fists, like, all right, come at me now, bing, and them just being like throwing hands, and like it's just a spectacle to watch, like absolute cinema. Like, and Deku's just like bang, like throwing liver shots, face shots, uppercuts, like eye pokes, like throwing everything, like just comboing this man. Nothing is affecting him, and he's just like, dang, are you this powerful? And he's just like, bang. It's like, huh, you got some crazy durability, man. And Gang Orca's like, you too. However, I can't let this fight go on any longer. And he lands a massive gut punch, and Izuku's like, bleh. And he's like, wait, I'm Moon Knight. So he grabs the fist that was slammed into his stomach, he pivots out of it, he throws his hand up, and he just launches a massive, like, bang, straight to Gang Orca's gut, and he just has to sit there and take it. And Izuku's Moon Knight, so he's like, let me do this then. And he pulls out his Kali 6 and he's like, bang, like landing hit after hit. And Gang Orca, like, he gets hit on the forehead, and his like quirk is knocked for a bit, so he can't really use his quirk. All he has is hands now. So Izuku, it's revealed that he's been regenning all of this. Like, he is not getting affected by this. And Izuku's just like, bang. And Gang Orca, I love Gang Orca. Like, he is honestly, he's a Chad. Like, to the fact that he took out 3 heroes by himself, pretty much, or like even heroes in training still. Like, I don't remember it fully, but I remember like enough to know that Gang Orca, like, he was not taking anything. And I can see the dude with the little with the vibration cord coming up, vibrating ground, and that whole thing happens. And the ground gets destroyed, and it actually creates a ton of shade. And Izuku's like, hey, this guy might not be so bad. So what he does is he hides in the shade, and then he comes up behind Orca, and he's just like, bang! And Orca's like, ow, that hurts. And he's like, but I know you won't. And then Izuku's just gone back in the shadows, and it just goes bang, 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 like even faster than before. Like the combos are just like going crazy, like liver shots, leg shots, like kicking at his knees, like making him fall and like stumble, like hitting him on the back of the head, hitting his pressure points. Like he's using everything to his disposal, and he's using pressure points. Like he's basically a Hyuga at this point, and Gang Orca is just like in his 64 palms. I'm kidding, by the way. Like he doesn't have that ability, but he knows where pressure points are because he's been fighting people for forever. So he's hitting him like under his armpits, like whenever it's raised. He's hitting him the back of his knees. He's hitting him right under the rib cage, right on the liver. And then I forget where another one is. I feel like he would go underneath Gang Orca's ears. No, Gang Orca doesn't have ears, so that pressure point didn't really exist. And finally, Izuku puts him in a chokehold, and he's like, Todoroki, Katsuki, now! And I would just say, like, all of a sudden they both appear and they just launch a massive attack, and Gang Orca is finally defeated, and everybody's safe, and that's all that. And I can also see, like, Izuku having a lot easier fight with this, especially whenever the ground is broken, because of his parkouring abilities. He's like, parkour, like doing flips and stuff, and Gang Orca's like, nice. And he's like, wow, I didn't even need to rely on Khonshu that much. And Khonshu's just like, kid, do you know who was regenning you the entire time? Yeah, the first 2 punches would have taken you out if it wasn't for me. And he's like, oh yeah, I know. I'm saying I didn't rely on that cheating ability of yours, the one that can hypnotize people. And he's like, fair enough. So after this, I can see them all returning to class, and honestly, I can see everybody who passed in the original passing, except I would say Todoroki and Bakugo would pass, and then Kami would pass. I feel like Inasa wouldn't pass, so he would have to do remediation, like he did in canon. So after this, they all return to class with their provisional hero licenses. And there are 3 people that walk in the door, and it's revealed to actually be the big 3, Mirio, Nedre, and Tamaki. So after this, Mirio's like, everybody, meet me at the training grounds. I gotta test y'all out. And Izuku's like, I bet, like, more fighting? I love this. So they all go to the training ground, and he's like, we're gonna play a little game of tag. So if you guys can touch me and tag me, you guys win, and I will lose. But it's just gonna be a 1v13, I think. I don't remember how many people. That's when I'm gonna be honest with you. So after this, I can see it going down like something like that, and honestly, I feel like it would go down to Izuku being the last one, because I feel like Izuku would just like hide in the shadows and wait to see what Mirio's quirk did, because he's not done with this version. Like, he knows like to wait, and he's like, okay, so that's his ability. He can permeate. Interesting. So he's like, I wonder, can he permeate through 2 things at once? Probably. And he can. He's not Obito. Like, or no. Yeah. He can't permeate through 2 things at once. So after this, what I can see going down is Izuku being like, oh, that's funny, but you didn't take me out yet. And Mirio's like, oh, we got somebody who's hiding in the shadows, eh? And Izuku, he's still like not there. He's like, and Mirio's like, how about you come out and fight me? And he's like, oh, I'm not that dumb. And he's like, hey Todoroki, I know you're out, but you mind giving me some darkness? And he's like, oh yeah, for sure. And Todoroki, what he does is he creates a massive ice dome around him and Inasa, and it's like thick, so that way no light is passing through it. And Izuku's just like, well, I know you can just permeate through this, but at least you wouldn't be able to see me while you do it. And it immediately, Izuku is just being like, the moon haunts you. And he's just like, meet. And like Mirio, he can permeate through it, but he doesn't know where he's gonna get hit, so he can't permeate all the time. So eventually he comes up with the idea of just permeating everything but his, like, the soles of his feet. And I can see Izuku finding this out and being like, hey, don't do all that. That's cheating. Come on. You really can't find me? Huh, that's weird. And he's like, well, I guess I'm just gonna have to keep trying. And immediately, like, Mirio's like, well, now that I think about it, you did already tag me, so I guess you win. And he's like, oh, cool. So Izuku comes out from the darkness and he's like, kidding. And he's like, oh, well. And he just dodges. And he's like, how are you dodging? And Mirio goes underground and Izuku, he just jumps up in the air and he has his glider out. And Mirio's like, okay, come on. If you're saying that I'm cheating for my permeation, that has to be cheating. Come on now. So Izuku just lands and he disappears again and he's like, fine, I come out of the darkness and you can't permeate. And we see who wins this little sparring match, we'll say. And Mirio's like, you got a deal. So he immediately just shatters the ice, just punches the ice, shattering it, letting in light so Izuku can be seen again. He's like, I bet. Boom, boom, boom. And he pumps his fist and he's like, I bet. So he just like dodge and roll and he's like, mink, mink, mink. He hits him on the liver. Liver shots are like so OP, except I don't see a lot of people falling for them or like falling at them in the MHA universe just because of the amount of durability. So he would hit gut shot, liver shot, head shot, and Mirio would be like, ooh, nice combo. However, and he's about to land a hit on Izuku, but Izuku just dodges. He is mink, mink, mink. He hits his arm, he hits his forearm, his elbow, and then I can see him like Mirio's arm is flying back, and then Izuku just slamming an uppercut straight to this man's chin. And Mirio would get dazed by this, and he'd be like, "Dang, kid, okay, I see you. Hey, I'll take the L on this one." And Izuku's like, "I bet." So after this, I can see them all going back to class, having general studies, and Aizawa actually reveals, "Oh yeah, by the way, we're going to be doing internships one more time just to give you all more hero experience, and so that way you guys can actually patrol legally." And Izuku's like, oh, heck yeah. So I can actually see like Mirio like calling up Izuku and being like, hey, actually no. We'll say he still interns with Aizawa, and Aizawa's like, yo, there's this like thing going on. You trying to go? Like, I know that you would be like such a big asset. And he's like, yeah, I'm down. So we don't get the whole Izuku and Mirio thing happen. We just get the Mirio and he just lets her go back. And Izuku finding this out, he doesn't care. Like it's not that he doesn't care, but he relates her so much to Koda that he's just like, nah, I gotta go now. So Aizawa, Izuku, they both pull up, and Izuku's just looking tough. Like he has a ceremonial armor on, and like this brother, he's just standing tall. Like this man, he's just looking buff in his ceremonial armor, and he's like, where's she at? I'm trying to save her, bro. Like I'm trying to be a hero. Like if there's ever been a moment where I'm trying to be a hero any time in my life, it is now. So this man, I would say he just bum rushes in. He realizes that the entire place is just like pitch black. So he's like, oh yeah, this is my jam. So he's like, hey Aizawa, I'll meet you there. So he goes to camouflage and he actually finds the breaker. So he like walkies everyone. He's like, hey everyone, I'm turning off the breaker so that way they can't see me. If you guys need the lights, I'm sorry. And so he flicks off, all the lights go out. All the power to the building goes out, and everybody's just like, wait, what? Like, why'd you just do this? Like, you fumbled. And he's like, watch. So I would see Izuku, he would be sneaking around, and you'd see Overhaul, like, experimenting on Eri, and I would see, like he would be, like, looking around like, huh, why'd the lights just go out? Like, he would know about the raid happening, but he would still be experimenting on Eri, trying to perfect the bullets before he tried. So I can see Izuku actually snagging the bullets, and Overhaul, like, without Overhaul seeing, and Overhaul being like, oh, whatever, it's probably nothing, and going back to whatever he was doing with Eri. And then I can see Izuku just being, like, tapping him on the shoulder, and Overhaul looking over his shoulder, looking back, and then Izuku taking Eri and hiding him under his cape, and then Izuku walking out, and, like, sneaking her out a little bit there, and Overhaul just being like, huh, whatever. And then he looks back and sees Eri's gone, he's like, what the? And he's like, go red, like, over the intercoms. And Izuku, he gets out of there, he takes Eri to the, like, main villain, or the main heroes, and he's just like, hey, we got her. She'll be okay. I'm going back in there to help. And Eri's like, no, you'll die. He'll die. He'll kill you. And he's just like, don't worry, kid. I promise. I won't let it happen. So immediately he rushes back in there. He cloaks himself again, and he just finds Overhaul again. And he's just like, hey, he's like, you have done unspeakable things. You will now pay. And he uses the voice of Khonshu, and he's like, tell all of your men to go into custody and that you have a plan or else. And Overhaul doing this, he does this, he goes over the intercom and he's like, everybody surrender to the heroes. don't worry, I have a plan. Like, kind of monotone, and like he was being controlled to say it, but nobody really recognizes it. So after this, I would say what happens is Izuku be like, good, now. And he snaps his fingers, and Overhaul snaps out of this, and he's about to say on the intercom, don't follow, do not follow. But Izuku just think, this man lands a haymaker. Like, this man was cocked up, like, fully back, like, his arm was down to his knees, and he just haymakers Overhaul. Like, just like, mink, just straight down on this man's chin, sending his head straight into the ground. And Overhaul just gets up in a daze like, oh, you're gonna feel for that. And this man, Overhaul, he stands up and he's about to just grab Izuku, and then he realizes, wait, where's this man at? And this man, Izuku's just like, the moon haunts you. And all of a sudden, he gets like 14 different crescent daggers thrown at him, like one in both shoulders, one in both knees. Like, this man gets him in his quads, he gets him in his biceps. Like, this man is basically gonna get turned into a vegetable just by the fact that he has daggers into his arms, like his forearm and his bicep and his shoulders. He has them in his hips, his knee, the back of his knees, his quads, his calves, like, and like the keen points of the muscles that need to be like done. And Izuku just took him out because of this. And he's like, how about I treat you to the same torture that you treated that girl? And he cuts off both of this man's hands. And he's just like, these were your own source of whatever. And he throws them away and he just stabs them into the concrete so that way nobody can move them. And he's like, now, bandage yourself up with those little nubs of yours now. And Overhaul looks at his hands that are gone. He's like, ah! Like thinking like, oh, I'm useless now. Like this man kind of just like made me useless. Like he made me quirkless, basically. So Izuku just he plants his right foot into the ground. He spins, he pivots on his right foot. He lands on his left foot. He jumps up and he hits this man with a tornado kick. Like straight to this man's jaw, sending him straight back into the concrete and knocking this man out clean. Like, and all of a sudden he's like, hey, I got him. And I neutralized him as a threat. Do not worry. And he clips his walkie back and everybody's like, neutralize him as a threat. And this man Izuku is just carrying him out like Yuta, like by the back of his collar and like carrying him out, just walking him like how he carried Yuji. Like, bro, it's tough. And he's just like, the moon haunted him. And all of the villains are taken into custody. Overhaul's taken into custody, basically crippled. So I would say that's how that would go. And then, you know what? Let's get into the gentle arc. Why not? Because no, I'm kidding. But and then the story ends off there. I mean, really the only other things to cover would be the rest of the school year. It would just go pretty smoothly. And I can see Izuku after this. He just continues vigilanteing. He tells Aizawa, he's like, yo, Aizawa, I was really only doing this for you, so I'm just going to continue being a vigilante, now that I can technically do it legally. And Aizawa's like, yes, sir. So he talks to Nezu about getting a full license, and Nezu's like, yeah, you're capable enough. So Nezu just gives him a full license, and Izuku now is a vigilante legally. He doesn't do an organization or anything, and he gets with Jiro, and they're just that, you know? I mean, stuff serious happens, but I mean, whenever they're older, I mean, they don't really have a kid or anything. They kind of just like talk and they're together, like they get married, we'll say. But with that being said, that was What If Deku Was Moon Knight. Thank you all so much for watching What If Dracula Owed Deku Money. No, I'm playing. But seriously, I mean, the series is over. I hope you guys liked the way I took it. I mean, if you guys look up like Moon Knight's abilities, like it's extreme strength, speed, durability, and stamina. He has like an insane parkour. One of his most OP abilities is the voice of Khonshu, which literally just hypnotizes people if they listen to it, which in itself is just OP. Like, I don't know why they have to add that OPness to him, but he's resistant to telepathic attacks. Like, this man can't not be hypnotized himself. He has night vision, he has camouflage in the dark, which OP, if you have seen Batman, he has like an insane regen, like he has an insane healing factor. He doesn't need a breathable atmosphere. Like, this man could be an underwater hero if he wanted to. Like, his pain resilience is just off the charts. Like, he's a master in marksmanship, weapons, like pretty much every weapon, and all martial arts pretty much. And he can teleport. So, like, not like crazily, but it's like really only at nighttime. Like I mean, I used it at the beginning of the series. Go watch part 1 if you haven't already. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching. Have a wonderful night, and peace.